We see them literally everywhere. On top of buildings, alongside the highway, sometimes they're even disguised as really unconvincing trees. But have you ever stopped and wondered what's actually inside one of those cell towers? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the hidden hardware that powers our entire connected world, from 4G all the way up to the 5G revolution.
Right? They're such a common part of the landscape, but for most of us, they're just a total mystery. So today, we're going to change that. We're going to break down the key components that, actually make your phone connect.
All right, so first things first, every single system needs a control center, a brain. And inside a cell tower, that's called the BBU. It is the brain of the entire operation. The BBU, which stands for baseband unit, is basically a super powerful, dedicated computer. Its one job? To manage that cell site. It's the real workhorse here, doing all the heavy lifting, all the digital processing, and controlling the network connection for that specific tower.
And what's really important to get is that the BBU is the fundamental building block for both 4G and 5G networks. You'll usually find it tucked away in a cabinet at the base of the tower, or sometimes it can even be miles away in a central data center. And it connects to all the stuff up on the tower using high-speed fiber optic cables, which is just a super efficient design.
Okay, so if the BBU is the brain, how does it actually talk to the outside world? I mean, how do its signals get to your phone? Well, back in the 4G era, the answer to that question was a little box called the RRU. Let's dig into how this works.
Think of the RRU, or Remote Radio Unit, as a translator. The BBU, down on the ground, it speaks a digital language, just ones and zeros. But your phone, it understands radio waves. The RRU's critical job is to take those digital instructions from the brain and translate them into the radio frequency or RF signals that can be broadcast through the air.
Now, this is where the engineers got really clever. See, radio signals get weaker and weaker the further they travel through a physical cable. So by putting the RRU way up the tower, right next to the antenna, they could send the pure digital signal up that fiber optic cable without any loss. Then, at the very last second, the RRU does the translation of radio waves. This whole setup minimizes that signal loss and makes sure your 4G connection is as strong as possible.
But 5G? 5G is way more than just a faster 4G. It's a fundamental shift in network design, and that required brand new hardware. And that's where the AU comes into the picture.
The AAU, or Active Antenna Unit, is the absolute game changer for 5G. What it does is brilliant in its simplicity. It combines the translator, the RRU, and the mouth, the antenna, into a single integrated unit. It's not two separate pieces of gear anymore. It's one sleek, incredibly powerful package. And the benefits of doing this are just huge. I mean, for one, installation is way simpler. But more importantly, it unlocks the true power of 5G. This integrated design is what enables Massive MIMO, which uses a ton of tiny antennas to talk to many more users all at once. And it also enables advanced beamforming. Think of it like this. Instead of a floodlight that spreads signal everywhere, beamforming is like a laser-focused spotlight pointed directly at your device. So we've got the BBU, the RRU, and the AAU. Let's just put them side by side and compare the 4G and 5G setups, because when you see it like this, the evolution becomes really clear. The difference is pretty stark, right? In the 4G setup, you have this three-step chain. The brain, the BBU, sends a digital signal up to the translator, the RRU, which then converts it to radio for the antenna. But in the 5G setup, it's so much cleaner. The BBU just talks directly to the AAU, which is the translator and the antenna all in one. And that integration, that is the secret sauce. That's the key to 5G's incredible power. By combining the radio and the antenna, the AAU reduces signal loss, it dramatically increases capacity, and it enables all those super fast, low latency features that make 5G feel so, well, amazing. So let's do a super quick summary. The BBU is the brain for both 4G and 5G. The RRU is the separate translator for 4G. And the AAU is the all-in-one translator and antenna powerhouse for 5G. Really, these three acronyms pretty much define the hardware evolution of our mobile networks. This whole evolution really shows you how hardware innovation is what drives network performance. So it makes you wonder, as we move towards 6G and our demand for data just continues to explode, what's next? What will the next generation of cell tower hardware even look like? What kind of crazy new technologies are just over the horizon? The future of how we connect is being built right now, one tower at a time.